joining us today on a webinar all about Maritime Licensing Agency. We're going to dive into what that is and what they do. My name is Leanne. I'm the Director of Community Engagement at Core Group Resources. And part of what I get to do is talk to awesome people like Eric and Naomi. So without further ado, Eric, would you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell me who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name's Eric Baldacci. I oversee the crewing at Core Group Resources. So if someone's going on a vessel, whether it's long-term, short-term contract, or a permanent position, direct hire, we support our clients by finding them people to go on these vessels. I oversee that team, and I'm excited to be here today to discuss how MLA helps us do that.
Yeah. When I first met you, when I first started working at Core Group Resources, I was very new to the maritime world, and it was clear to me that you were very, very knowledgeable and also very reliable. And people told me over and over that Core Group Resources was a service-oriented company when it came to contract and crewing labor. So then when Maritime Licensing Agency came into the picture, I was like, oh, this is a clear fit to me. But Eric, why don't you tell me a little bit about the story of MLA coming into Core Group Resources and what that looks like and what that means?
Sure. As we ramped up and got busier and busier, and we were having to get licenses for our people, whether it's Coast Guard or usually it's the foreign flag license, Liberia, Marshall Islands, Bahamas. We were using services, and Naomi's someone we were involved with as well. And the more we did it, the more I realized, Naomi is someone who fits with our culture of get it done, 24/7. And we just knew it was a natural extension of what we did. But we weren't necessarily bringing it just to be in-house, just for us to process a license. So we decided to get with Naomi and see if she wanted to start her own, almost like business unit. And so they're really more of a vendor to Core Group. Yes, they're part of Core Group Resources, and they do what we do. They believe in working how we work and providing customer service, but they are their own business unit that anyone can use. It's not just for Core Group Resources, not just for our contractors, any vessel owner out there that wants to use them, any mariner that's out there. It's a service that MLA provides, and they're just Core Group lends them the support they need to be effective and successful is more really how it works. So all their people that they're doing, everything that they do is not flowing into our recruiting side. It's just we use them just like you would use it, or just like a vessel owner would use them. But Core Group supports them with services and technology and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm on that support side. It makes me think of our mission statement, connecting people to destiny. Yes, we directly connect people to destiny by connecting them to jobs, but also sometimes incredible people who do incredible things come along. And the way we connect them to destiny is by supporting them and pursuing that dream. And I love it when a connection can be made like that. Naomi, you're one of those. You're one of those people that's come along where we were like, this dream matches who we are and we want to buy into it. We want to support it. So tell me a little bit about who you are, and then we'll kind of dive into your background and your story of how you got to here.
Right. Again, thank you for the invite to be here today. I'm honored. My name is Naomi Swanson. I am the lead consultant. I get a little tongue-tied, for Maritime Licensing Agency, or AKA MLA. And I was not in this industry before I joined the maritime industry. I spent like 30 years in various administrative roles where I honed my skills in attention to detail, evaluation, problem solving, and customer relations. And that all just kind of fit into what Core Group was needing. They needed someone that was took pride in their work and was going to follow it from beginning to end. You know, we were going to take care of it.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah, but it's not, it's, you know, don't forget, you have years and years of doing licensing before you came to core group.
Yes, I did. I had many years of maritime licensing, and also it kind of flows with the alarm industry as well. I have background in that because you have to be licensed for that. So you need to know the rules, regulations, what's going to be accepted, what's not. But that's for later on. But yeah, that it kind of helped to have all that background to where I could fit into core group as to what they needed, because they needed someone that could teach them and them not have to try to teach us of what they need.
So Eric, how did this all come together? Because originally Naomi didn't work within core group resources, but we definitely needed a Naomi. And Naomi, I remember when your name was first mentioned, and it was always said as like a good thing. Eric, what happened there?
Yeah, it's just, you know, when we were building the crewing side, we'd never done it before, and it started out very, very small and got busier and busier. And then we were starting to be asked for licensing, so I had to figure out how do I do that, and I asked one of my clients, well, who do you use? And they're a big drilling contractor, and they gave me Naomi's name. And so she was who became a vendor, and we just worked with her, and we work 7 days a week, nights, weekends. Our clients, you know, sometimes it'll be a Friday afternoon. They say, can this person be here Saturday? And by the way, they need a CRA for a librarian license. And, you know, we're like, oh my gosh, you know, how do we do this? And I just hope to God that Naomi would answer, you know, especially the first time. And she's like, okay, yeah, let me get this done. And I think one time she was driving back home, and we were trying to text and email, but regardless, the thing was that the CRA showed up 5 a.m. and we got it, or it was before that, but we got it to the candidate and the client so that they could get on the helicopter and get out to the rig. And from there, we're like, okay, this is our type of vendor. They work like we do, or there's really the person, the individual that would answer the phone on a night, a weekend, and say, yeah, let me help you make this happen for, you know, I was her client. She made it happen for me because I was trying to make it happen for my client. So it was a team, it was a team effort. And I'm just like, okay, this person works like how we work. And it's the reason our clients love us, and we were able to build bigger and bigger. And it just made sense to say, we can do this, we can offer this, and I think we can offer it better than our vendors do. If we had the right person in the seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one big thing I'm about is one is the teamwork, but two, the main, let me reverse that. The number one thing is making sure that mariner can provide for his family. If he needs that license to go offshore or to meet the rig, that's what I want to do. I want to make sure, hey, he can't say, well, the filing agent didn't. No, we're going to get it so that he can keep providing for his family. And two is the teamwork. It's knowing, hey, people are going to count on me, and they know the results they're going to have. And so it encourages us to answer that phone call at night. I just look over my husband and say, I got to take this. He goes, okay. You know, he doesn't even bat an eye anymore. And I'm like, okay. So I take care of it. And the customer is so appreciative because they're already under so much pressure. One, if it could be manning, or it could have been an audit coming up, or this. And if that's one thing they can pass on to us, and them say, okay, I know that's going to be handled, and we'll go on to the next one. They're going to use you every time because they know that they can delegate, and they know that they're going to get results.
Yeah, I think I'm hearing this continued theme of, you can count on us. Like, we're not going to leave you out there. We're not going to not come through. Like, if we pass it to you, we know you will take care of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that was a big thing for us, right? Like as we're growing, but even now, it's like there's so many different things that try that is like it's trying to prevent this from happening.
Oh, yeah.
That there's just so many things, and if you can eliminate one thing that you know is not going to be an issue, it doesn't mean there's not issues that don't pop up. That Naomi doesn't have to email or call and say, "Okay, we got a problem. This document doesn't work," or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's it's going to happen if Naomi's involved. If it doesn't happen, it wasn't because of MLA, it's because of something else, you know. And so
Yeah.
we know we can just hand it off. If we hear from them, you know, it's either good or it's bad, but it's
Mhm.
not their fault, right? So but
Right.
usually I I don't know of a time where it hasn't gotten done. It's been figured out, it's
Yeah.
been made to happen. It's not always smooth. That's just the nature of this. But they make
Oh.
it as smooth and painless because they keep us involved and keep us informed. They don't just hide out and,
Mhm.
you know, hope it goes
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
most of the time, the bumps and growing pains we have is the mariner not getting us the right document. We can ask for this specific document, but they may have heard it listed as a different type of certificate, or they're offshore and they're having spotty reception. I've had that happen a few times. But generally, when you say, no, it's this specific certificate, they'll say, okay, yeah, I have it. And they'll send it, and then it's fixed. So a lot of it is communication and the internet. And we all know that's not anything we can control. So a lot of times, if something doesn't get issued, it's just because we were waiting on a certificate, and the guy might have been in transit from the helicopter to the vessel, or, vice versa. So we take that into account. But we let everyone know we have the transparency for the clients to say, hey, where are we at? I submitted 10 applications, and they're going to know exactly, hey, we're lacking this. Hey, this was submitted. Hey, we received it. Here's your tracking number.
I love that.
I've had clients, you know, it's like, you don't have the CRA, we need the CRA. Should we have the person fly? Should we have them get on an airplane? You know, they're supposed to leave in a couple hours and join the rig tomorrow. I'm like, send them. Don't worry about it. Just send them. I'm guaranteeing that this document will be there before they
Yes.
get to the heliport. And so like I don't do that unless I can count on it. No, I'm not going to waste someone's time, someone's
No.
airfare, anything, you know, a client, you know, get them their hopes up. Like, cause I don't want to have to go back to a client and say, oops, you know, if I don't think it's going to happen, I'm going to tell a client. But there's never been a time where they're like, you know, are you going to get the CRA? I'm like, just put them on an airplane. It'll
Yeah.
be there, you know, so.
Well, the first thing you don't want to do is affect your client's bottom line. If they have to duplicate, or they miss out, or something's rejected, they're not coming back to you. And two, it's just, we want to make sure everything's done properly, so they will keep coming back to us. So they can say, hey, core group, and then they'll refer core group out there, and then with the MLA. So the main thing is we want to get it right the first time, because one, we don't want to have to go to the client and fall on the sword, and two, say, hey, we're going to hit your bottom line because we got to do this. And
Yeah.
ooh,
Valuing what the people you work with value.
Yes.
Following
yes.
through the bottom line, saying, I care about what you care about in a way where it will impact the way I work to make sure it gets done. So then
Yes.
let me ask you a question. So we've talked high level that you provide licensing, maritime licensing, but if you were going to
Mhm.
describe the services that Maritime Licensing Agency provides, how would you describe them?
We're a one-stop service where they can reach out to us and ask many questions. I get emails quite often asking, how much sea time do I need, or will this certificate qualify me? I have a client sending me, hey, can he work as a chief mate, but his credentials only for a second mate? And I'm like, no, you need chief mate. We can apply for the second mate, but you need the chief mate, and then should provide this and this and this. And that's what they like. Following up, once we get the application submitted, most of them are online. The only one not online is Panama. but we have such a relationship with Panama Consulate out of New Orleans that we can pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, look, I need this for today. I have this and this, and they'll say, send it. And they just appreciate us sending them business. She tells me that all the time, how much they appreciate us considering using them. Now here it is, the Panama Consulate, and they're thanking us for sending them business. Now the other consulates, no, we just won't go that way. But the other ones are all online, and we can follow that, hey, it was accepted, hey, it was rejected, hey, we need a new headshot, hey, we need a better medical. And that's what we do. We also clean up a lot of, because sometimes they send us the pictures just a little too big, or they might be cropped too small. So we're able to make those adjustments and submit them so that the mariner's not wasting time of having to go stand in front of a wall, take a picture, such like that. And once it's submitted, then we have the contact to say, where is it at in the process? And they send us tracking numbers when it is being mailed out, when it's being shipped out. So with that, you're looking at maybe a 2 to 4 week time frame, but some of them are even coming in sooner than that.
And Naomi,
then
just for everyone, what are all the different licenses we're doing right now? Like the different flag states and Coast Guard.
Flag state would be Liberia and Marshall Islands, Vanuatu, and Panama. We haven't had much requests for Vanuatu, but I'm familiar with Vanuatu. So predominantly it will be Marshall Islands, Liberia, and Panama. And we do Bahamas for only the client. That we have a specific client that has given us permission to process their credentials. And when I say credentials, it could be a seaman's book, which we call a seafarer's ID book. And it has their picture, their date of birth, the date of issuance, their expiry date. Then they can do an ordinary seaman, which I don't have that many, but it is possible. Able, Seafarer, MODU, which is Mobile Offshore Drilling Unit. Then you got AB DAC, which is in your navigation department, AB Engineer. And then it just goes up from there. You go through your third engineer to your second engineer to your first engineer, your first assistant, chief engineer. And on the navigation side, it would be, of course, third mate, second mate, first assistant, chief mate, and even master. And we also do the U.S. Coast Guard. We also process the applications for the U.S. Coast Guard. They're not as transparent, but we can check on the application in the process. An email is generated and sent to each mariner. So the mariner's also in real time. If the Coast Guard sends us, say, hey, look, we're missing the medical for this person, the mariner's also being emailed. So that's keeping him in the know. Mm-hmm. So, and then they generally call us and say, hey, look, are you handling this? Yes, we are. He says, good, we thought so. And it would just continue on with the process. And so,
you know what I love, Naomi? I have sat in a lot of demos. A lot of my job is evaluating processes, tools, and systems. Right. And I can typically tell in about the first 5 to 10 minutes if somebody knows their stuff or if they were trained just to sell the product, but they don't know it on deeper layers. Yes. When you talk, I know that you know what you're talking about to the level where you can figure out what's missing, which to me is always like, what an expert is not somebody that knows the bullet points. An expert is a person that reads the bullet points and knows what's missing. And you just did that. You were like, and ABCD, XYZ, like everything in between, we have it covered. This is how we do it. That's incredible to me.
I'm going to look things up real quick on if I don't know it. If I do know some of the stuff. I don't want to say I'm an expert at it, but I think I do pretty good with it. But anyway, I do have books for reference so that when someone calls me, I'm going to give them directly what's issued per regulation, per whether it's STCW or IMO regulations or the consulate's regulations.
I love that, because you don't know what you don't know. I was
Right.
I was at the doctor the other day and I was like, man, I feel like I should know answers to this. And then I had to stop myself and be like, I'm not a doctor. There's no reason I should know the things that I don't know. And I love that somebody can call you and get an answer. They're not gonna, walk away feeling like, man, I should have known that already. Like, you're just gonna help them get to the next step, which is so valuable, I think, to have. So specifically, if we were going to break it down, companies, vessel owners, and then individual mariners. If you are watching along with us in the comments, go ahead and share with us if you are a company or a vessel owner or an individual mariner. We want to say hi to you. But if you are going to break it down into those three, Eric or Naomi, you can take this question. When would they look to use MLA's services? So company first, when would a company, like a client that cruise a vessel?
Yeah, well, whenever they realize they have someone who's going to be on their vessel who needs the appropriate license, or if they plan on, hey, we're gonna be crewing up a vessel, or switching a vessel from one flag to another, they can reach out and get a plan going and pricing and all that. But yeah, if someone's going to need a license, they're going to call Naomi.
What do you feel like, Eric, is the value add of being able to outsource that to somebody instead of keeping it on your desk?
Me personally, or you're talking like the client, I guess?
Yeah, like the client. You're like, me personally.
Well,
So.
I mean, I guess well, I get, it depends. Obviously marine superintendents that know Naomi, they like to go straight to her, right? They wish they didn't even have to use their internal department. And it's just, some companies don't want to deal with it and some companies do. They have their own person. Obviously the benefit to a company to outsourcing it is they don't have an employee they have to worry about, is this person performing, not performing, paying benefits and that sort of thing. But Naomi could be a supplement to them too, right? Let's say they have their own department, but they get overwhelmed because let's face it, everyone's asked to do a lot of work, right? And there's times where you don't have enough time in the day, and Naomi can help supplement that department.
Yeah.
Just rapid 24/7 versus, typically, most companies, they don't work their employees 24/7, and Naomi's not required to do it, but she does it just like I do, and just like our crewing team, because we want the people to get to work and make money, and we want the client to continue their operations with no hiccup. So that's just our service oriented vibe that we have here. But I'd say that in a bind, even if they have their own team, she can supplement them. If they don't have their own team, she can do high volume. She's not the only one she's not by herself at MLA. She has plenty of support.
That's awesome. So would you say for vessel owners, it's the same as for clients then, the same scenarios, or do they have specific scenarios for when to reach out?
The client, when I say clients, they are the vessel owners. Okay. They're the same. Yeah. An individual mariner, technically they're a client too. And Naomi could go into it, but I would think for an individual mariner, first, I don't think you can even do this on your own, but if you could, you don't know what you're doing, the right people to talk to. It's just so much easier to send the documents, let her clean it up, and process, follow up, push for it while you're doing your job that you actually make money doing, instead of sitting there calling and trying to track down, did I send the right documents? And I don't know, Naomi, I don't even think a mariner can do this on the Coast Guard. They can, but I don't think
the Coast Guard they can, and the other foreign flags generally like a registered filing agent, so that way you're held responsible to adhering to their regulations. That's the biggest thing, is that you're representing them. For an example, Marshall Islands, They have me as a registered agent because I'm representing Marshall Islands and the records that I'm submitting are true and correct. Whereas if you get a mariner in there and they may send an electronic signature, that's not accepted. They may send the wrong medical and they go back and forth, and they just rather deal with a filing agent because they know they're going to get the right information.
There's certain things that have to be on people's MMCs for one flag state that don't have to be on it for another.
Yes.
And if you don't know that, you're
Yeah.
gonna be wasting your time. I mean, literally, they can MLA can get you at least the document you need, the temporary, basically the CRA or the other, I forget what the other flag states call them, but they can get you the temporary certificate within a few hours. Like if you have the right documentation, you're going to have this thing real quick. You know, that day for sure. If you don't have the right documentation, they're going to work with you and you can still get it done that day. Whereas if you're trying to do that on your own, you can't. You just can't do it.
Because a lot of times I'm getting emails about, hey, we have an audit and their foreign flag, it could be a Liberian auditor coming on board, and they're saying, we need this documentation because we're representing Liberia as well. And Liberia is going to be looking for their certain certificates. And yet, if, let's say, a survival craft is not listed on a mariner's Coast Guard license, a lot of times they'll take the certificate, your actual certificate. So then, hey, this is in the process. He's getting it added to his Coast Guard. Can we still push it through because we need 8 people to hold a survival craft on a vessel, and we only have 7. We really got to get this guy. And the CRA is your certified receipt of application, which states your application has been accepted and is being processed. And that lets the auditors know, okay, they're going through the correct channels. And with that, it puts the masters at ease, your captains and the masters and chief mates that have to account for everyone on that vessel. And if one person's missing, they're going to take a ding and they're not happy. So we try to make sure that we're proactive and we get them what they need so they will have a good audit. Yes.
Man, this is so. I think when I started working at Core Group, the my understanding of licensing was like, oh, people have driver's license, and within the first few months, I was like, no, this is not like a driver's license. The intensity of this, the detail of this, and the process of this is more similar to like buying a house or changing your name. And sure, you can navigate it kind of by yourself, but nobody really wants to work with the person that's sitting there going like, well, I think this is how I buy a house. It's so helpful to just have a person to advocate for you, to take your hand and walk you through the steps and say, this is what we're going to do. And I've got you. Is this the house you want? Man, what a difference that makes to have a person.
I get it all the time. I have a passport. I'm glad you have the passport, but you need more. Guard, why do I need it for? I'm just telling you that the regulation is, even though you're a U.S. citizen and you have the U.S. Coast Guard, they would still like you to hold the Panama license and such. And because there's a little disconnect in there, but when you explain it to them, they're like, okay, and they get a better understanding. And that's what they want. People just want to understand. They just don't want to feel like they're asking a dumb question or they're bothering somebody, but they really just need to know that, because we all learn at different levels and we all retain at different levels.
Yeah, and detail stuff like that. If your brain's not like an administrative detail brain, that can be really hard to hold on to. I feel that. So then, Eric, I wanted to go back to you for a second. Naomi originally started as one of our providers. She was, literally, Naomi, you were probably an answer to people's desperate prayers. But Eric, what do you look for in vendors that we work with where you know that they're going to be a good fit?
Yeah, the attention to detail, the accuracy, the knowledge, the get it done attitude. It's not like, oh yeah, hey, you're just missing this and that's it. Or no, I'm not going to be able to do that. You know, anyone who can't say, oh yeah, this is a problem, but here's what we can do to try to fix it. Let me look into it. Let it, you know, we can make this happen, but here's what we need. You know, problem solvers, because there's always something trying to prevent these things from going through, you know, outside of our control. But so yeah, just the same, you know, the running with the same mentality of the service. And it's not even about service to us as we're looking at our vendor who's providing it to us. No, you're really providing it through us to someone who's trying to go make a paycheck, to a client who's trying to work. So someone with that service above self attitude, and the problem solver attitude. Yeah, like you know, they don't just hear that, oh yeah, you got a problem, and then that's it.
They're like, oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah,
thanks. I already knew that.
I like to say that I would never run for fun, but if you put an obstacle course in front of me, then suddenly it's fun to run through the obstacles. And I feel like in vendors, you look for the same thing. You look for somebody that when you present them with a problem, they say, oh, that's interesting. Let's solve that.
Yeah.
It's just a different frame of reference, a different approach to life. Naomi, I wanted to ask you, what has it been like coming in with core group resources? How do you, what has that experience been like for you?
It's been, how can I say, expanding, because I feel me and my team members feel heard. If that's kind of being different in the corporate world, and we do have women that are high ups in the corporation, but not all the time are we heard. And it's nice to know that there's a company out there that said, hey, we're going to listen to your pitch and we're going to follow your lead, and you let us know what you need. And when we did, they provided it, and in turn we were able to provide the service and their expectations they have of us. And we have the same core values. I know that's a word with core, but they have the same values that we have, like, you know, customer service and being a team player. Core group is all about teamwork, and it's so refreshing to be part of a company like that. I see growth every little KPI. We're seeing something new, and like, wow, where'd that come from? But it's fast moving, but hold on, because you're going to go someplace with us. And the main thing is just the back and forth. They know they can call me. The CEO calls me on my phone. Hey, Matt. Yeah, I can. Yes. Not, not a problem. And if I can't do it, I say, no, Matt, I really can't do that, but we can work. And he's like, okay, just get back. You don't have that. And that's just like, I can't express it enough, of being refreshing, of being heard and allowed to grow and say, hey, look, I have this idea. In fact, one of my teammates wanted to have a dashboard created for a big vendor. And then we had to take that dashboard and cut it down into 2 individual sections. And we did it. And the customer's like, this is what we've been wanting the whole time. And we're like, that's what we do. So it's very nice to actually be appreciated and supported, and no idea is too crazy. And we can go to him. I can have a epiphany during the middle of the night, write it down and get the next, hey, let's do this. And they're like, let's see if we can work that in. And I'm like, yes, let's do that, kind of thing. So it's really nice being in this business for as long as just being in the corporate world. It's really nice to say, okay, let's start building, and we're just gonna go. We can only go from the ground up. We're going up.
Yeah, you are going up. I've seen it myself.
Yeah, we let them come in, tell us, we kind of said, hey, this is what we want to do. I know you guys want to move on from where you're at, and tell us how you want to do it. We're going to let you run it the way you think it should be run.
Yeah.
And so in a way that they are building their own business. And that's why I say, hey, you know, they're more of a vendor to us. They're core group all
Yeah.
the way, but we let them do it how they want, build it how they need it, and just use here, but they have a budget and they have everything. It's as if it's their own business. They're just using core group resources to help them make it happen. And that's what we like, entrepreneurial type things here, and
Right.
let them build. So yeah, it's awesome to see them do it.
And we follow that budget. It's like, okay, we need this. Okay, we're going to do this. We need business cards. No, we're going to, I'm just kidding. But no, we do care about the budget. And a lot of times people come in and they don't care about the bottom line. Let's just go. And the bottom line kind of poofs. It's like, no, we're going to make sure we watch that bottom line grow when we grow with the company too.
Yeah. Yeah. What I've heard both of you say is this fun combination of, one, if you come in with an idea, we're a place that makes ideas real, which I think fits in with the entrepreneurial spirit. Our marketing manager, Tony, he likes to say that any new division we start, the owner of that, the leader of that has to have an entrepreneurial mindset where they believe that their reputation is the reputation of that specific branch or division, because that's what it takes to make something new grow. But also, Naomi, what I heard,
no one gets to walk in with an idea and then say, okay, can you guys make this happen for me? No, it's like, if you come in with the idea and want it, you better be able to be the one that's going to do it. Otherwise, it's not happening. So
otherwise, it's just in the corner.
Great idea. Don't make it happen.
Just having that small little window of opportunity was more important. It was very important to both myself and my team, as to now we can really shine, because we have that one little opportunity and we're going to make that opportunity grow. And that's just the one thing that, and when I say grow, I mean helping more mariners, helping clients and companies out there that things are just piling up on their desk. Well, go ahead and just slide it our way and let us be that extra person that you need. Let us be your extra pair of hands, and let us help you grow. Because when you grow, we're growing, and we're all a team.
So then, okay, question off of that. We've gone kind of like high level of what does it look like to build this thing together. But you just, I love that your attitude and your mindset and your heart is always towards the people that we serve, right? We're a service industry. We don't exist if we're not serving somebody. So if you were going to give a little bit of coaching to companies or to individual mariners, and you had to say, hey, this is how you set yourself up for success to work with us, what are some tips you would give them to say, hey, this is what you do to set yourself up for success?
Right. One is, don't be afraid to ask a question. Even before you sign it, I get many calls or emails. Where do I sign? Where should I sign? And we highlight it and we mark it, but sometimes there's multiple places. And it's like, no, you can just sign right there. Or will they take an electronic signature? Because not everybody can sign. Make sure your training certificates are current. That, when I mean current, not expiring in the next 3 months. When I say current, make sure that you have at least a year or more left on that training certificate that is valid, so that you can get the endorsement that's needed, or the officer certificate that's needed. If you need a little help with where to look, then they can ask us, and I don't mind trying to locate the site and such for the mariners to find that information. But that's the main thing, is to make sure they're current on their seat time. A lot of them, if they're self-pay, their seat time is going to be in their discharge book. But if they're with a company, the company will provide a letter of seat time. And make sure the medicals are always valid. Make sure that you've had a medical every 2 years. And that it's stamped by the doctor's office. I can't. It's not my regulation. It's everybody's regulation. They have to make sure that the doctor signs it and has a stamp on it. And then the next thing is just making sure they have the right forms to fill out and reaching out to licensed mariner, Maritime Licensing Agency. They can get the forms that are needed. They can go to our website and all the applications are there. And there's a chat box, and then there's a request form, and someone will reach out to them. But that's to set up for success is just know what you have and just make sure that it's current and it's going to get you what you need. That because I can't create that. I can't create the training certificate, and I can't create the CTOM, but I can assist with the other stuff. And that's what the mariner's going to be responsible for.
Ooh, I would add a quick tip on that. If you are like me and time just somehow passes sometimes and you're like in the middle of life, putting the dates in your phone is really helpful. Like as soon as I finish something and I know I'm going to have to redo it in a year or 2 years, I go ahead and put that date in my phone's calendar and I ask it to remind me. Because if there is not something else holding that piece of my brain for me, it's just going to poof and vanish. There's too much happening each day for like something that far out to be stuck and cemented in your brain. Put it in your phone or put it in a paper calendar. I don't care, but put it somewhere, not just in your brain.
That is a very good, that was one of my thoughts, is to put it in the phone, because I have everything in my phone from, the haircut to, my business meetings to someone's birthday's coming up. But and it's just easier that way. That way you can focus on what you need to focus on and not focus on that part, because that's going to take care of itself when it lets you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Naomi, how soon should somebody reach out to you to start the process?
As soon as they know they are going to be assigned offshore or there's a job possibility coming, then that's when I would start. Because sometimes it could take a little while for them to get the certificates that are needed, or I can get the CRA in a matter of hours. So as soon as they know something, either way, they're going to be, the process will be started. And then if it's a renewal, I suggest starting between 9 and 6 months out to get it renewed, just to make sure that you have all your training certificates and get that training in that 9 and 6 month time, so that it'll be valid for the next 5 years, because most certificates are valid for 5 years. There's a couple of them that are valid for 2, and that's generally your like security awareness and such like that.
Eric, is there anything on the company side that you would encourage companies do to set themselves to be successful working with MLA?
Well, I mean, just reach out to them and let them know how that company works, what they need, and then MLA can tailor what needs to be done. For instance, we created those dashboards for one company, and then I didn't follow that part, but I heard you split it so that they got the different information they need. And so just setting up for success is starting the conversation. Naomi can take care of the rest, because we're here to, like you said, provide them service, make their life easier, and that's what it's about,
Yeah, and if you are a company considering working with MLA and you're curious about what it looks like, we'll have MLA's email up at the end, and you can schedule a time and they can show a demo of what it looks like and what you get to see, so that you're always informed. But you're welcome to look at an example dashboard and ask Naomi those questions. So before we end, I have just a couple questions left. These are my 2 favorite questions to ask. So Naomi, is there a favorite story you have, or a favorite thing you have about doing maritime licensing?
One time I received a phone call from a wife that was frantic. that she did not mail off her husband's renewal application on time, and he was due to expire and he was out. And so we were trying to get all this taken care of before he came in 2 weeks, which we did. I did tell her, let's breathe. We're going to get through this. I can help you with this. And she was so grateful. She's from Scotland, so she had that thick brogue. So I'm not even going to try. But we ended up talking about my granddaughters and me wanting to visit Scotland and such like that. But she was very appreciative because I was able to get the CRA issued. Not that he needed that, but just having that in hand, I was able to push through we did a rush on him, and I was able to get him his credentials before he came home. So she was so happy about that. And then he even emailed me back and stated that he appreciated the help that I did. And I was going to grab my little long-haired, my little yak. I call him a yak. I think he's a Highland cow. Hold on a second.
I love Highland cows. They're one of my favorite animals. Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry. We're going to have to cut the part out with the shorts. So, yeah, this one. And then she sent me a little silver box with a Scottish pin in it. And it was all about just me talking about my granddaughter. And she just sent me, it's like she didn't have to, but she did. So I know that it meant a lot to her that I took that call and I eased her mind and I was able to keep her husband working. That always sticks with me. Yeah, but yeah, he sits on my desk.
Yeah, you need it as a reminder. It encompasses exactly what you do. You're all about the people, whoever the person is. Eric, different question, but similar for you is there anything that's really exciting to you about this new step for MLA, about them being part of core group, about what you see for the future?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting in multiple ways. First was, like I said, we on core group side, we found people who embody what we do, and it was a natural extension of what we do, and that I was able to go to Matt and say, hey, what if we did this? We looked at it and we did that. And then on the other side, MLA, the people who make that up, were people who wanted their own thing and wanted to start their own business, and were like, well, but we don't know how, or they didn't have all the tools they needed to. It would have been a much longer, harder road, right? And we were able to help people fulfill that dream on that side. And just to be able to go to our customers and our contractors and the mariners out there to say, hey, we offer something additional for you. We have more value to you. And so there's multiple reasons that this is super cool. I love to see people who get to have a dream, go after it, start something, and see success from it, from the work they do. And that's how core group was, right? That's all businesses. They start as nothing. It started as Matt in his living room, and now we got 80 people here. And I started we were in just a small office with like 6 of us, and we built this thing up, and seeing Naomi get the chance to do that because she has the desire to do that, is awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's a sign of a healthy business where you always have something at the newest stage because it embodies that passion and that original dream, and it inspires everybody to keep growing hard and doing what they believe in to the fullest extent. So Naomi, my last question, and I'll leave it with you, is what do you want people to walk away thinking about?
That MLA is approachable. They can call us, they can email us, they can chat and ask a question that pertains to maritime licensing and get the correct answer. That we feel they're part of the team.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is being approachable.
Yeah. You are exceptionally approachable. Your entire team is. I get to work with you
Right.
occasionally, and it is honestly delightful. Like they're
Oh,
enjoyable
thank you.
meetings.
Yes. We have a lot of fun when we're in Houston. Yes.
Yes.
A lot of connections.
A lot of connections. I would agree.
Mhm.
Thank you to everyone who has joined us today. If you want to connect or if you want to approach MLA, their contact information is up on the screen. I would encourage you to reach out. Even if you're not sure exactly what you need, they can and will point you in the right direction. And if we did not get to your question in the comments, don't worry, we'll be following up on all of those. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Okay.